All right, and away we go. Welcome in, guys. I cannot believe it. It is a 1, 2, 3, 4. It is Monday, I believe, December the 2nd. Hard to believe, guys, but yes, we are here. It is December the 2nd, 2019. It's another edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. It is powered by WagerTalk.com. I'm Joe Raineri, joined by Tony, Finn, and Bryan Leonard, two of the very best at WagerTalk.com. And a lot of great things going on at WagerTalk.com. It's $9 Monday. We'll get to that. Plus, as a way of kicking off Cyber Monday, have an opportunity for you guys to be able to get 25% off any 3-day package or longer, and we'll get you those details as well, but we want to dive into some NBA. So, Tony, I'll start with you, my friend, because it was a very interesting week in the NBA. Kind of, as far as maybe power rankings go, we had some very interesting things happen. We watched teams like, Carmelo Anthony and the Portland Trailblazers go undefeated this week. Now, it helps that you play the Bulls a couple of times, but I don't think there's any denying. He's actually making a damn bit of difference and couldn't have happened at a better time for this Portland team.
Yes, you could not have had a better lead-in because I'm the one last week that said, listen, he can't possibly duplicate who he used to be. However, so far I'm damn wrong. So I mean, he's put up points. He's never going to contribute on the board so much that it's going to make a difference. He's not going to be the defender that most NBA studs are. That even can score, can play a little defense. His age prohibits such. But so far, I'm still going to stick by my belief that he's not going to be that difference maker. Portland needs to be to be basically one of the elite, but he's done his job. He's really impressed most, and even me, which is hard to do.
And, Brian, I got to tell you, I mean, it was the Lakers were just cruising, right? I mean, they were never going to lose a game. They had a 10-game winning streak. They go into, Anthony Davis, who's been playing better, and then they go into halftime with a 10-point lead. They come out, and Luka Doncic in Dallas wipes the floor with them. Pretty much maybe making a statement that maybe the Lakers kind of hard to turn it on and turn it off every night. They've been doing that with lesser opponents, but that crap ain't going to work with the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, that's a good point about the lesser opponents. You go back and look at the teams they played before that. Washington, New Orleans, San Antonio, Memphis, Oklahoma City twice, Atlanta, Sacramento, Golden State, Phoenix. It's been a long time. They played Toronto on the 10th of November, and they lose that game. So, Lakers looked really good against bad teams. And if you chart in-game betting, they've been one of those teams that can fall behind early and come into the fourth quarter. Then all of a sudden they put it all together and turn on the switch, as they say, and they get those victories. Well, I think they thought they could turn on that switch again, and it didn't happen. So keep that in mind. When they play good teams, they struggle a little bit. And that's something you always want to take a look at come playoff time in all sports is to, we made a ton of money this last baseball in the playoffs. When you find teams that beat up on the weaker teams, the Minnesota Twins did that all year long, and then they get in the playoffs and have to play good teams and actually struggled. So that's something to really keep in mind on. The Lakers have no problems blowing out the weaklings, but let's see how they do against the better teams in the league.
Yeah, weak, strong doesn't make a damn bit of difference here, Tony. The Bucks have won quietly, if that's even possible, 11 in a row. They beat the Hawks, they beat the Habs, they beat the Hornets this week as expected, but Giannis is just, damn, the dude's throwing up, 50-point, 14-rebound performances against a Jazz team that was supposed to be, albeit without Rudy Gobert, but it's not exactly like they struggled without Chris Middleton. They went 7-0 when he wasn't in the lineup either. They're winning games by an average 11 of points without him in the damn lineup. So, I don't know. Is it possible? Are they better than what we witnessed last year?
Well, they're not better. Let's put it this way. They're not going to be better against the spread. There's no surprise now, and in truth, you're getting anytime you're backing Milwaukee. In most cases, you're going to be paying an inflated price. This year, I think they're 9-11 against the spread. Am I wrong about that? And I think they were the top team last year overall against the spread. Tell me I'm wrong or right about that.
I'm fairly certain you're right about that.
And now, are they not 9-11 this year, Brian? Let's put it this way: this is a team that won what? They won. They went 14-1 in November. Yep. Mm-hmm. And they're still 9-11 against the spread.
Yep. Yep.
So as good as, listen, winning is winning. These guys, in the most cases, they know what the line is. They know what the spread is. They know who's favored. But when it comes to overall, and this is just a 1 month sample, guys, that it's pretty important that you get that while winner's a winner and a team that dominates, it's pretty important you get a good number, especially in this in the NBA environment, which shows my last 2 games. I've lost and had almost 20-point leads in both games.
Yeah, I mean, Bri, is it fair to say, I guess, maybe the upper echelon, the market, it's so oversaturated, it's so overvalued on teams like the Bucks, but yet when we look at teams like Toronto, again yesterday at home against Utah, only a minimal point spread, like. Is that over with now? Is the chance to profit on Toronto? Is the market going to catch up with them moving forward this week as well?
I think they should be. One little question or one little statement about the Bucks. After playing the Knicks tonight, 7 of their last 8 games, they had been favored by double digits.
Wow.
Yeah.
They play Detroit on Wednesday, and then they play a real team, the Clippers, on Friday. It wouldn't surprise me if we see a letdown out of Milwaukee when they play Detroit, when they've got to play a quality team after that. So I may be looking to fade the Bucks there. But Toronto's one of those teams that their record is a lot better than what they should be, at least in my regard. I track the average lead in the games, and Toronto is one of those teams that's getting the victories, but they're not really dominating in that regard through the entire game. Let me see what I've got here for the Raptors on the season. The Raptors are up 78.9, which is pretty good. That means they really played like 20 games. So their average lead's about 4 points in a game. That, even though that's really good, I don't know if that translates to a 15-4 record. So the Raptors are a team right now that I think are playing a little bit over their heads. And, the Charlotte's and other teams, Charlotte's at 8-13, and say, well, they're 8-13. But coming into the season, Charlotte was one of those teams down there with the Cavaliers and the Knicks and the Hawks that people didn't think would win many games. And Charlotte's actually playing pretty well. For the talent they have on that team, to get 8 wins out of 21 is actually pretty good. And I think we may be able to fade the Hornets, as when you've got teams that don't have as much depth and as much talent, as the season goes on, they tend to fade. And I think we can make some money going against the Hornets the rest of the way.
All right, so we got it's been an interesting week. Actually, this week is going to be real telling for Toronto. They got the Heat, the Rockets, and the 76ers on tap there. And wouldn't you know it, the Clippers, I don't know how to do. Anybody have San Antonio in that game over to anybody have San Antonio? Because whatever you do, don't piss off the Clippers. They'll drop $150 on you, okay, in the blink of an eye, which is exactly what they did here against the poor Washington Wizards, who happened to be on tap. But just when you thought, Tony, that San Antonio had figured some things out there, they beat the Clippers, and you're like, this is going to be great, and then they come back and throw up all over themselves again, man. I give up with San Antonio. I really do.
Well, we spoke to and spoke at San Antonio and some of the problems they have defensively. One of the worst defensive numbers right now under Coach Pop, and the youngest team San Antonio is rostered since he started 17 or 18 years ago, whatever it was. And I spoke to DeRozan, and when he's on the court, this team's a -4 as far as on my rankings what they're doing as far as being efficient defensively. And to speak to Brian, Toronto. You guys are speaking to Toronto. I'm off. I know I'm off topic.
No, go ahead.
From the Clippers. Their average number, positive number against the spread is almost 8 points.
Wow.
So when and their average for the victory this year is 9 when they do win. So they, as Brian mentioned, I think they've probably outperformed at least their market value. So is that going to come back a little bit as you mentioned? And really, Toronto, Dallas, and Miami have really been the 3 teams that have outperformed. According to my charts, guys, as far as against the spread, they're all almost 5 or more points against the spread, which is, for those maybe that don't understand, that's a big number against the spread for already being 1 month into the season. I think regression. I think it'll equal out, but so far, if you're gonna look for some regression, guys, I think those are the three teams. That's
how about some positive regression, though, Brian? I mean, are there some teams maybe that are kind of flying under the radar, you think? I look like Indiana had a pretty nice week. Oladipo starting to be in the G League. He's warming up a little bit. They got Brogdon back, and I don't know. Is Indiana, are they poised to maybe make a run here and all of a sudden a very competitive East?
Yeah, Indiana's a talented team. A lot of people are looking past them. We've just talked about the Spurs. The Spurs have allowed 129 points or more 4 times so far this year. Yeah. When was the last time we saw that out of the Spurs? I know it's a different game now than it was in the past, but still. Yeah, Indiana's one of those teams that I really struggle to fade because I think they're better than what they've shown. There's a team off the radar right now, the Memphis Grizzlies. They're sitting at 6-13. This is a team. My numbers show that they're much closer to a 500 team than that. Last night, they played Minnesota, getting, I believe, 11, and they beat Minnesota straight up. The Grizzlies are one of those teams that are under the radar. They're not, the Grizzlies are not the Warriors. They're not the Knicks, the Cavs, and the Hawks. I mean, this is a team that's got some talent on that team. They just happen to play in the Western Conference. If they were in the Eastern Conference, they could be possibly a playoff team. That's just the way it's set up this year. So when Memphis is playing these teams and you're getting those outrageous numbers, Minnesota going into last night was 10-8 on the season, laying 11. That was just too much. And Memphis is a team that I'm looking to play on. There's a few of them out there. I think Oklahoma City's a team that's staying under the radar a little bit. Portland, who would have thought? Portland now at 8-12. Once they made that desperate decision to bring in, I thought their season was over, but now they're playing really well.
Can't go wrong. Melo delivering, but we all know that's not going to last forever. But it's good to see him at least back. It's big fan. The guy was one of the best, one of the all-time greats here in the game. So it's good to see him at least contributing at the very least. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that team moving forward. Now, it's a short card here tonight, guys. Couple of games, couple of very some interesting games here. A couple of those teams that we just talked about are in action here tonight. And again, we want to remind you it's a big day over at WagerTalk.com. These two gentlemen available plays packages right now at WagerTalk.com. Both Tony Finn and Bryan Leonard. It is $9 Monday. Plays are just $9 right now. And also, in honor of Cyber Monday, you can get 25% off any 3-day or longer package. Just use the code CYBERSALE at checkout. That's CYBERSALE at checkout, WagerTalk.com. Anything 3 days or longer with these two guys, you'll be able to get 25% off with the code CYBERSALE. So let's take a look at the market here, guys. Some of the movers and shakers, some of the games here, all looks like, I believe, starting at 7 o'clock, couple of games at 7, couple at 8, and the late game will be the Bulls and the Kings. But as far as the movers, the Utah Jazz were kind of laughing there as they got smoked in the first half by Toronto last night. Well, here they are in Philadelphia here tonight. Opened up at Philadelphia 4.5. I'm seeing 5.5, even a couple of 6s across the board. Total hanging around at 208. But Tony, seems to be an awful lot of love, at least at this point, ticket-wise, to Philadelphia. Not necessarily money-wise, though. I do see some money creeping in on Utah as well.
Well, if you believe there's supposed to be some revenge factor, I guess, in the NBA. There's a little incentive for Philly tonight because of the last time these two teams played. I think that was the game Simmons got injured, if I'm not mistaken. But really, this is a Jazz team that it's not just last night against Toronto, but we're down 15 at half against that Memphis team that Brian's been mentioning, which I believe is going to be a team that has been that coin flip team this year as far as the spread goes. I like Philly tonight. I like Philly tonight to not just cover, but win, not just cover, but do so in a fashion where they get that first half lead and don't surrender like most teams I've backed the last week.
Now, what do you think, Brian? Is this just a bunch of angry Eagles fans figuring, screw it, I'm back in Utah tonight, like screw everything Philadelphia? What do you think's going on here? You like where the Jazz? It's a tough spot for the Jazz.
Yeah, it is a tough spot for the Jazz. They played that game yesterday, and they get crushed. They were down big at the half. The good thing for the Jazz was Donovan Mitchell played 30 minutes, and he was the only guy who reached 30 minutes. So the good thing about falling behind so early, he got to play 13 players last night. You rarely see 13 players playing in the NBA. anymore. You know, when you're playing 13, there's a lopsided score somewhere, one way or the other. But from a scheduling standpoint here, a lot of these teams, at least the early teams on the schedule, will play in their third game in 4 days. Utah's got to go back home and play the Lakers on Wednesday. It is their last game on this road trip, playing in Philadelphia here. If they do fall behind early, you could see them kind of packing it in and waiting until they get to the next game because of the situation they're in. I kind of lean with Philadelphia here, looking at 5.5 in most places. But a lot of these teams, third game in 4 days, so keep that in mind. But Utah wins that game earlier at home by 2, I believe, against Philadelphia. And, 106-104. So a little bit of revenge for Philadelphia, although I'm not so sure non-conference revenge means that much in the NBA. But I would expect a good effort here for the better. Both teams are good defensive teams, but Philadelphia at home should be able to set the pace on a team pretty tired after the schedule they played.
Josh Richardson's going to miss this one, it looks like, so there'll be a little less depth going on, which athleticism is not a problem for this Philadelphia team. Depth is going to continue to be a problem for them, especially if any injuries mount up. But just a tough spot all the way around for Utah here tonight. Another one of these 7 o'clock games, guys. The Phoenix Suns are going the wrong way. I don't know. You know, we all see that. We knew there was going to be some regression there, Tony. No way Phoenix can continue at the pace that they came out with. I think overachieving a little bit, but yet they find themselves on the road against a Charlotte team where they are the road favorite here, laying 4.5. It's been pushed up to 5 in some places. The total starting to creep down a little bit. 225.5 opened up. I'm seeing a lot of 224s, 224.5. They are getting a serious amount of tickets plus money in this game. You like Phoenix, what you're seeing here, or is this a good spot for them?
I back Charlotte here tonight, being the home dog. Listen, Phoenix was able to withstand the suspension to Ayton. They really haven't. If you look at their numbers and see what they've done with Rubio, they really have not been able to overcome that back injury. Devin Booker's been, their best player. But Ruby and his ability to kind of control things when this team gets out of control offensively, Rubio's the key. And a lot of their success has been due to him. In this situation, I would definitely be on, even though the depth isn't, the quality of depth isn't superior per Charlotte, I'd still take Charlotte in the points here.
You agree there, Bry? You like this spot here for the Charlotte Hornets coming in as a home dog?
I prefer the Phoenix side here. You've got to hold your nose a little bit the way they played as of late, but you go down the season, the teams that Phoenix has lost to, they've all been quality teams, except for the Washington Wizards the other day. They lose to Denver, they lose to Utah, Miami, the Lakers, Boston, Sacramento and the Pelicans are decent teams. Denver, Dallas. So they've hung in well with teams that they've been better than. And this is a team right now that comes into this game having lost, 6 to 7. A lot of times you pick out these certain spots where a team is going to come out and give a really good effort. We'll see that in the next game if we discuss the next game. But the Phoenix Suns right now set up to be a full all-in on this one. And, the Charlotte Hornets are one of those teams I'm looking to fade a little bit. So lean a little bit here with Phoenix. Hate to disagree with Tony. He's a very good handicapper, but I'm leaning the other way.
Okay, and of course, with the 8 o'clock game, interesting, 2 teams we talked about. The Pacers, Memphis here tonight. Another one of these games getting an awful lot of love, only it might surprise you that Memphis coming off a game yesterday at home, taking on those Pacers, but they're getting a little love right now. Opened up as a double-digit dog, -10. I see it down to -9, 9.5 in some places. As certainly the money, the bigger tickets are starting to come in on Memphis here. A lot more tickets on Indiana on the spread. A little bit more money there coming in on Memphis. Tony, is it another one of these just bad spots for Memphis? Ja Morant back injury week to week now. So you like them, or you like where Indiana's coming in on this?
I love Morant. Love the way he's played. He has been at least one of the key pieces in my mind that has made this Grizzlies team tough to figure out. I backed them last week. We talked about this on the show. They had a 15-point lead at halftime over a Utah team I thought would be tired. and they ended up, and we're getting 7.5 points, and we got a 15-point lead at half, and we don't cover.
Right.
We get blown out in the second half. They're a tough team without Moran. Let's put it this way. They have been, for myself, I shouldn't speak for you or for Brian, a tough team to figure. When I backed them, when I thought they were going to be in a good position, they haven't been, or they haven't executed to such. So as soon as I saw this game this morning, I just passed right over it.
How about it, Brian? Memphis, Indiana. Indiana trending the right way, getting healthier, and Oladipo, he's going to be back at some particular point this year. What do you like in this game?
I prefer the home dog here. I just talked about these two teams a minute ago, and both teams playing 3 games in 4 nights, although Memphis played yesterday. But it's tough to play 3 games in 4 nights and be a road favorite of this magnitude, which Indiana is right now. I'm seeing 9.5 out there. They play Memphis again Oklahoma City on Wednesday, also on the road. This is their second of 5 straight road games, so it wouldn't surprise me if Indiana gets a lead in this one. They take some air out of the ball, and they're happy with the victory. And to win by double digits on the road, as tough as it is, and being that road favorite on a 3 and 4, I think sets up well for Memphis. A team playing in front of their home fans, they're going to give a better effort there. So I prefer the Memphis side here. I'm hoping we can get up to 10 here before I give that out to my clients, but that's what I'm leaning to right now.
And, guys, the 10 o'clock West Coast game here tonight, interesting one. Bulls on the road taking on the Sacramento Kings. Now, Chicago's coming off the end of a 3-game road trip. They've had 2 days off, so I guess maybe that'll help. But, these are two teams – Chicago's been disappointing just about everywhere that you've looked. Sacramento's been nothing but surprising here, given the injuries that they've had to deal with. Both Fox and Bagley look like they're going to be coming back here soon. So, what do you think? Is there value in this game, Tony, when you looked at it here this morning? Sacramento Kings laying 5 at home tonight against the Bulls.
I think so. I mean, I think there's times and spots, and at least in my time and space right now, Sacramento hasn't really been a play on, but I think they are tonight. I think, for the most part, as you just mentioned, this Chicago team's playing the 3rd road game, 5 days. They have been disappointed. They're without Otto Porter Jr. And as far as the big guys from the University of Arizona, he's been Laura's been a disappointment for me as far as when I played or when I thought Chicago was the team to back. Tonight, I'll step out and tell you I like the Kings.
Like, what about it, Bri? You like the Kings in this spot at home?
You've got 2 teams. I talked about a lot of teams playing 3rd game in 4 days. You've got 2 teams here that are pretty rested. You go over Sacramento. They haven't played a back-to-back game since back when they played on the 25th of November. Chicago hasn't played back-to-back since the 23rd of November. So both teams had their feet under them. And anytime you've got some feet under you, I'm looking to play the defense. You get a little bit, you're not as lazy on defense here. Lined up at 211. I see 212.5 right now. Sacramento, the last 2 games, have allowed 97, and that included an overtime game. 97 the game before that, 103, 106 the 2 games before that. So the Sacramento Kings are playing some pretty good defense right now. I'm looking for this game to go under between Chicago and Sacramento. 2 teams really hungry for a win at this point, and I think defense rules the day in this one. All
right, now, guys, we'll switch it over here. Obviously, light card, only 6 games on the card here tonight. Guys, went over most of them. Is there a value play on the board here, Tony? A best bet that you like, maybe stuck out to you a little bit more than the others?
Nothing that has jumped out of the, at least off my computer screen and off the rotational board. But I will mention that I think as long as the Warriors are without D'Angelo Russell and Draymond Green, I think if they're on the road and playing without rest, I don't care who they're playing. I think you have to take that foe, and I think Atlanta is the play tonight.
Yeah, and Looney, I think, is on his way back. I think he should be back this week. I mean, yeah. That'll help, right? I mean, right. A little bit, somewhat, maybe. No.
Yeah, I think he definitely helps. He's the defensive player they need there. Unfortunately, I think Draymond Green is going to miss tonight. So that would have been nice to see them both back together and see what kind of defenses they could play. But, we didn't touch on this game earlier, the Atlanta game, but you've got a team, I believe Atlanta's on a 10-11 game losing streak. And the lineup at 5.5 has gone up to 6.5 here. A lot of that is because, number one, people are looking at this as the Hawks got to have this game, but keep in mind, in 2 games they get to play at Charlotte, so that may be another game that they could get. But teams tend to be bet up here, and a lot of people look at that and they'll say, well, this is a team that doesn't deserve to be that level. But keep in mind, Golden State is one of those teams this year. They're either in the game and they win the game in a close game, or many times they've just gotten blown out. In fact, when you take a look at their numbers for the entire year by average game score, average lead, they're down like 200 points on the season, and like the next worst is down like 120. So when Golden State loses, they lose big. So the only thing is Atlanta's biggest average lead on the season was back in the opener. 5.4 points when they played Detroit, and they win that game by 17. So Atlanta's not one of those teams that wins by a margin. This is an interesting handicap here. If Atlanta gets out a little bit early here, you may want to just fade Golden State the rest of the way. But we didn't touch on this one, but I did want to touch on it a little bit. My best bet today, and I didn't give out anything for the clients as of yet, is Memphis. If you see a 10, keep in mind that's probably what I'm going to give my clients. I haven't done it yet, but like I said, third game in 4 days, laying close to double digits is not something I want to be involved in. So I'll take Memphis.
And guys, am I right? Can I Knicks money line tonight? What do you think, Finn? Right, play it. What do you think? Upset of the year or what? I mean, they're only getting what, 16, 15 and a half, 16. What do you think? It is second game of a back-to-back here on their way to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. What do you think, man? Money line, Knicks? No, throw it out the window. I did find 1,000, so.
Keep it in your pocket.
You guys got no faith with the Knicks whatsoever. The only question is, will they score 221 points in this game? Is I think really, can you get 100 out of the Knicks tonight? You think to make it close?
You may have a better chance of the Bucks scoring 200. You take a look at they're coming off a 137 game against Charlotte. I mean. They scored 137 against Portland, 135 against Atlanta. This is a team, they could put up a ton of points. They should be able to put up a ton of points here. But you're right. Can the Knicks keep this one close? And Milwaukee is as many points as they score, they still have a pretty good defense. So that's a tough buy. They may be able to get the cover, but I'm not putting my money on them to win the game straight.
You think they'll score enough, at least do their part to hit the over here, Tone?
Well, I don't. Let's put it this way. I'm trying to look at the schedule right now. Would you consider this be their 4th straight game against a less than? And if there's a letdown at all, these Bucks are 2-4, I think, or 2. What are they? What's their numbers against the spread as double-digit favorites? Not very good.
No, it's not good. Right.
If you want to lay this 1,000 on the Knicks, I would suggest you probably take the points.
Take the points, though. All right. So avoid the money line, go to points. All right. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Tony, Finn, Bryan Leonard, guys. It's very simple. Follow them on Twitter. You can see the addresses right there. But more importantly, get over to WagerTalk.com. It is Cyber Monday. Right now, you can get any 3-day package or more. 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, full year, whatever it is that you want in the NBA available right now, with 25% off simply by using the code CYBERSALE at checkout. That's right, CYBERSALE at checkout. It is $9 Monday. Any play there at WagerTalk.com, just $9. Like Brian said, his plays will be up there. Finn, you throwing a couple of things up there tonight?
I do have a play up tonight, and I like it, so go get it.
Go get it right now. $9, guys. You can't go wrong. Go get the plays. Take advantage of the Cyber Monday sale. Cyber sale. Keyword at checkout. Any 3-day package or greater, 25% off. He is Tony Finn. It is Bryan Leonard. Guys, appreciate the time. It's an abbreviated slate tonight, but going to be a very profitable one. So appreciate the time, guys. Good luck with your plays. We'll talk to you again this week.
Good luck, guys.